I'm gonna do a small carving video, and I'm probably just gonna do something simple. A couple of small spoons. It's all the snow is melting here. I've only got about 12 minutes of camera time storage on my camera right now, and I don't feel like clearing everything off. This beech is hard right now. I haven't I cut this off of something a while ago, and it's seasoned a little bit since then. It's warm enough out here. Really, once you start moving a little bit, it's probably about 40, 50 degrees. And once you start moving, you warm up so quick that you don't really need the coat. Alright, I have my roughed out bowl shape. I'm going to cut this off so it's shorter because it's going to be about an eating spoon size. I'm going to cut it off about halfway. This is a pull saw. Just a Japanese style pull saw, and somebody gave it to me. Otherwise I wouldn't have one. I got a bunch of American style and British style saws. That particular saw does really well with green wood, like branches, and that's what I use it for. I use it for spoons, handles, and that kind of stuff. I think if it was too dry, it'd break the teeth off. Got a really hard temper on the teeth. They seem to snap pretty easy, and plus they're real long. That wood is hard as all get out. I recently swapped away my belt knife that I've been carving with so much, and a couple other knives. And, so as a result, I'm back to using my old case knife, which works well. It's not a bad little knife. It's not as sharp as my homemade knives, my blacksmith knives. And it doesn't hold an edge quite as well. I mean, it can be as sharp, but it doesn't hold an edge quite as well. See, it's just a yellow handle case. I'm probably getting close to running out of minutes. But on the camera, I don't know how long it'll go. I might end up making 2 clips and edit them together a little bit. I never do as good rushing. If I take my time after I've roughed everything out, the spoons always come out better. Beech is incredibly hard when it gets a little bit dry. So if you ever want to work something in beech, unless you're planing, well, planing you probably do okay in hardwood, but the this beech, I'd recommend working it real green. I mean, it's carving okay, but much more difficult. It's kind of like maple, except I think it's harder than maple. Maple's pretty hard when you get maple seasoned. I'll go get my spoke shave here in a minute and spoke shave it down a little bit. That'd probably go faster anyway. I'm gonna pause it. Alright, I moved it up a little closer. I don't have a tripod right now. I just don't have one with me. I'll have to make another one. But basically, I'm taking my homemade spoke shave, which is of the same beech tree that this one is out of. That's how long they keep. I've had this probably a couple of months at least, and the wood from the original beech that I cut it out of is just starting to get a little bit cured out. And I'm just using it one-handed, kind of like a potato peeler, to kind of rough the outside of the spoon. If I make another one of these little spoke shaves, I probably will try and come up with a one-handed variation to it, because I use it like this. I use it with two hands, holding the body and holding this with my fingers. But I would like to have one that's kind of only got a handle on one side and a little bit fatter, because it's really handy for smoothing out these portions of the spoon, that it can do it more evenly than you can with a knife. If your blade on your spoke shave is sharp, and you can get all those radiuses. I will say that because I switch grips on it, the two handles actually help, but for some things. You can't keep them boys from not making noise when you're doing something. It's impossible. But you can see that the spoon is starting to come to shape. See, the bowl is nice and domed. I'm going to go around the outside corners and bevel that edge in a little bit. I do that with a knife if I don't have the spoke shave with me. Spoke shave's easier to a certain extent. Anyway, I will probably get my bowl gouge here in a second and begin to round that let me grab that. This is just a bowl gouge. Bevel's on the outside. Start wherever you feel comfortable, but I tend to start back towards the stem of the handle and work my way around the outside of the spoon, establishing a dip. Because if you've got that dip established with a little bit of meat, rarely will you overshoot. This is some hard stuff. So you can see what I'm doing here. Starting on that inside of that bevel that I just made and doming it into the center. You'll end up with a little bit of a rise in the center. It'll come out here in a second. Don't worry about it. Just go slow and don't cut yourself. Okay, you can see I'm starting to get a dish. I don't know if you can see that. I'll try and let it sit still for a second. Starting to get a dish in the spoon bowl. Once you get the dish started, if it's deep enough, you can use, and I don't use this to start it with, but a more hook knife does okay once you got the dish in there. It seems like this is a little bit hard for it. The beech is some tough wood. Now this is a very good use for this tool. I was not real happy with the original edge that it came with, so I resharpened it, and I've got it cutting pretty good. I still use this gouge a lot, especially on bigger spoons like ladles and stuff like that. But the only thing I don't like about it is it doesn't seem like it's close enough. It doesn't seem like the cutting edge is close to the hook. I should have got. I might need a different one. The hook should be really closer to the handle so you could exert better leverage on it. See, and I'm starting to get that deep spoon bowl. Still real thick. It's still about a 1/4 inch thick through the center. I'm not going to make this a real deep spoon because I notice that with eating spoons, it's better to have a shallow bowl. Your lips don't tend to go down in a deep bowl real well. So the best thing to do is to have a semi-shallow bowl, kind of almost a flat dish. I don't know if you can hear this on the camera, but you can hear it where I'm sitting. I can hear everything dripping. I hear them birds too. But that snow, we had about 6 inches of snow. Chattanooga, Tennessee, 6 inches of snow last night. Alright, now I'm getting real close to what I want on this bowl. That's about, I don't really want this to be a deep one. That's about all I want. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my knife, or my spoke shave, probably my spoke shave to begin with. And I'm going to start coming down towards thinning the bowl out. Alright, see the bowl in the, I don't know if it's focusing, the bowl in the spoon. It keeps shutting off on me. I don't know why it won't film continuously, but I'm going to lace all these together. See, there's the bowl and the spoon. I'm going to set it back around here and I'm going to try finishing up. Alright. Right now, if it didn't catch it last time, I'm working the edge down to the profile that I want, because I've got the depth that I need. All I'm doing is hogging off the wood. Till I get a good consistent depth there. That's pretty close. I'm going to start taking it off this way. Alright, now I'm starting to get where I want to be here, and I got a few little rough patches, but that's not a big deal. I'm probably gonna see. I don't mind this being thick right here. It supports the bowl of the spoon, I want it thin out here. The front half of this needs to be thin. And that's the main goal here. I kind of like a thicker handle anyway, even though I might thin it down a little bit. Now I'm gonna switch to my case knife. Got a piece of grit in that. See if I can trim this down. Around the tip a little bit. Alright, now see, I got that, let's see, I think it focuses about a foot. This is, I got that shape the way I want it. I've almost got the bowl exactly the way I want it. Got the outside pretty egg shaped. I kind of like an egg shape. I think I'm going to take just a little bit more out right here with the spoke shave, because it feels like it's a little thick. Don't be afraid to just keep going with it. Get at the thickness you're trying for. All you're going to do is, you know, break something that you spent 30 minutes of work on. That's not a big deal. You can always come back and do it again. You got to learn somehow. I will say I've never went through the bowl on one of these. Let me make sure this thing's still filming. Yeah, it's still filming. It has a tendency to want to turn off on me. I'm going to push that dividing line back just a little bit. It has this point in which you got to go one way or the other, and I'm pushing it back so that I can take it from this side and okay. Alright, now I'm about done with the bottom side of this. Now I gotta thin this part out right here, and I've got to take this bark off, which I'll do that with a knife. And then I want to take the I don't know if you can see that. Alright, that's the majority of the bark off of it. Now I'm going to take that spoke shave and round it a little bit here. Thin the sides out. And the spoke shave will take off a lot of wood. I thought it'd be something to take off small amounts of wood. You can set it just like a plane, any way you want it to. And right now I've got it set to take off about a little less than a 1/16 at each pass. And I accomplished this by tapping. I tapped these so that I tapped the blade so that these two, like 8 32nd screws would go through it. I drilled and tapped them. This is a piece of Sawzall blade that I cut down and ground the way I wanted it. And all I did was I shimmed it out with pieces of paper on cardstock on each side until I got the depth set the way I wanted it. They were probably better ways to do it. My way works. But there's no reason to not do something. No matter what you don't have. I don't spend money on tools very often. I tend to make things and make things work. And that's what I'm going for. Or make do. I'll make do with something. If I can't get it to work, I make do. The trick is to just get it done and don't complain about not having something. Just do it. And it works better that way. You learn to make the tool and you learn to make the item you were trying to make. Works better for everything. You get the experience of knowing that you made the thing and that you know exactly how the tool functions because you're using it for a given process. I didn't have any idea how a spoke shade worked because I'd never handled one in person or owned one, and I just made that one based on the idea of some drawings I saw on the internet and pictures. For years and years and years, people used wooden-bodied spoke shaves till companies like Stanley started putting out the steel-bodied ones. So there's no reason to do something. There's no reason not to use something that was used for generations. You don't have to have the latest and greatest gadget. All right. Now this is almost finished. I've got a little bit of smoothing to do, but this is a completed spoon, start to finish. This is the bowl, the outside of the bowl and the profile, and I did a little decorative piece there. I will smooth this little rough spot out and some of them other, but I kind of like the tooled finish. This is almost cured out beech, so it was real hard to use, but this is basically a peasant spoon from the Middle Ages. It's almost, I've seen pictures of spoons, and this is almost just almost a peasant spoon, almost exactly. But that's nothing but an axe, a bowl gouge, more a hook knife, and I did it with a bowl gouge for years before I got the hook knife. My wife got me that for Christmas this year, and the homemade spoke shave and a pocket knife. So there you go.